Ladies and gentlemen, you're watching Foodcaster. I'm Michael. And you're watching Foodcaster, everything having to do with planting, eating, enjoying, having a relationship with food. And today we've got Sam Eats Plants. How you doing, Sam?
I'm great. Thank you for asking.
And before we begin, I want to give a shout out to Sound Shark. You can always go to Sound Shark Audio. That's this wonderful microphone right here. So, Sam.
Yes.
I've heard of fast foods. Mm-hmm. But what about fad foods?
Fad foods?
Yeah, foods that are just, it's a fad. Everyone's hopping on it.
Yeah, as we do as humans, we kind of hop on a bandwagon of something and then it fizzles out if it was a fad, or it stays if it is a fad. A long time ago, using vegetable oil or vegetable oil,
right,
that was the thing because it was full of polyunsaturated fats.
Okay.
And I don't think anyone would have considered it a fad, but now looking back, it was a fad because now everyone's like, tropical oils, coconut oil, palm oil, things that are completely saturated with fat and are avoiding polyunsaturated fats. So it's interesting how that happened.
Right, but once you cook the oil, like we discussed before, it changes the properties.
Yeah, which is how the tropical oils came back in fashion.
Okay.
But it came back in fashion in a fad-like way. Now, I understand why to use coconut oil, right? And I use it. But it is overpriced more than it needs to be because of the buzzword about it. This is kind of like the key of what makes something a fad.
Right.
And also, it's still not mass. If you go to a regular supermarket and you look in the oil section, it's still like hella corn oil and olive oil, right? It's still like a specialty section of coconut oil. So it's continuing that feeling of being like fad and a little like off norm, off the beaten path. And they could just normalize it. It's just not normalized yet. So I'd say it's a fad. I use it.
Right.
But it's
which
a fad.
Ones?
I use coconut oil, not palm oil. Palm oil is more expensive, and there's a lot of environmental and human justice controversy around palm oil. So I just decided to stay away from it, though it could have a lot of health benefits. Palm oil is actually red. There's some nutritional things going on with palm oil, but it's very expensive. So even that in the super, super ultra health foodie world, that's totally a fad. I don't think it's like a normal fad yet. Yeah.
And is it even worth it to
buy palm oil?
Yeah, or even hemp oil or any of those oils? Does it make a difference?
It doesn't make a difference to how your food is cooked. It'll make a slight difference in how your food tastes once you're done cooking. And it does have differences in terms of what it does for your health. So like I said, anything with a lot of polyunsaturated fats shouldn't be cooked. And hemp and flax oil, they're all very high in polyunsaturated fats. Super, super high. There's health benefits to it, which is why people should eat hemp seeds or flax seeds, but you shouldn't make the oil. And I think that's another part of the fad of it all. Someone decides, like 15 years ago, I think flax seeds really came back. And someone decided, this is so good for you. And then marketers was like, oh, let's do a lot of things with flax.
Right.
Let's make flax oil. Let's make flax protein powder for workouts. Let's make drinks, or let's have a ready-made yogurt with flax seeds on top.
Right.
That's what happened. And so when you don't really understand the food completely, you can get caught up in the fad. Flax seeds are very, very healthful, but they are very, very delicate. And once you grind them and you break them down, they go rancid quickly. And once something is rancid, it's like carcinogenic, So the best way to keep flax seeds is whole and in your fridge, and you blend them when you need them. But it became a fad, So they just make a lot of products with flax seeds and kind of denigrating some of the health properties. It's still more healthful than not, but now it's not. It's just not as healthy.
Not as healthy.
As if it would be in your fridge. It's kind of similar with chia seeds too.
Now, when you use any oil to cook,
Yeah.
well, are you cooking, or are you just using it for flavor?
I use oil to cook because I don't care. If I start cleansing, I'm oil free.
Okay.
I don't use oil when I'm cleansing. But on a day-to-day, I use oil because it's easier.
Okay.
Because I like the way coconut oil tastes, because it makes everything taste like coconuts, and coconut is like one of my favorite flavors in this world to ever have. Yeah, those are the reasons. They're like emotional reasons.
But not necessarily. That doesn't matter either way.
It's not the biggest deal.
Okay.
I also have healthy habits, so I know what I'm doing when I do that. I don't smoke, I don't drink coffee, I work out, kind of drink water. I drink water when I work out.
Okay.
I get better on that. I eat a lot of fruits, so that doesn't bother me. But if someone has an inflammation issue, I would tell them, mind how much oil you use when you cook. And cooking with coconut oil is not that inflammatory. Cooking with olive oil is. It becomes more inflammatory. But yeah, if someone's sick, I'd say, like, well, don't use oil or don't cook with oil at least. Yeah. It all depends on the person and where they are.
Now, what about poke bowls?
Is poke bowls outside of New York too? Or is it a New York thing? Or is it like...
It might be.
Is it like a Northeast thing?
I don't know.
Northeast. So poke bowls are, I'm going to assume, some type of Southern Japanese dish. I don't even know if I'm right. It just looks that way to me. So if I'm wrong, y'all correct me. And it combines rice, like always, and then stuff with it. So some type of veggie thing, some type of cooked veggie, some type of soy sauce, maybe some seaweed, usually a piece of raw salmon on top, or cooked chicken or something. And they call it a poke bowl. That almost is like a macro bowl to me. That's how you know it's a fad. It's like, oh, what is this? Oh, you just put everything in a bowl instead of a plate. Okay, whatever, cool. But it doesn't change what it is. It's usually white rice. Y'all can decide what white rice means to you.
Right.
It's a lot of the time it's raw salmon, which is problematic.
Why is that?
2 reasons. Most of the salmon you're going to come across is farm-raised. Farm-raised salmon is fed antibiotics, GMO soy, and GMO corn. So they're unhealthy fish that are always sick, which is why they pump a lot of antibiotics in the big fishing net in the water. And the problem with water, unlike land, it's fluid, so it moves back and forth. So whatever we do within that fishing net for the fish, it goes out into the oceans as well, and creates issues with the fish that are not being farmed, the fish that are just wild. And then the flesh then has to be dyed, because farm-raised salmon flesh is white, because they're not given krill to eat. The reason why salmon is pink is because they eat krill from the riverbeds and on the rocks and things like that. That's not what farm-raised salmon is. So you're eating a very like denatured, unhealthy version of what a salmon is supposed to be. And then you're eating it raw. So there's just like a lot of things. But you know, whatever, if I look at the grand scheme of life, it's typically all real food in a poke bowl.
Okay.
And if people want to do that, it's better than fast food burger and fries. It is.
Yeah.
I've actually like never ate a poke bowl. I will always see like poke bowl places, and I'm like, I want to go in there and eat it. But for someone who doesn't eat animal products, I start looking, and then I always get bored with what my options would be, and then I walk out. And then that's it.
And that's it.
That's it.
What about coffee? Well, we spoke about coffee a little bit.
Coffee's not a fad. I mean, like, zhuzhing up coffee.
Yeah, all that
pumpkin
extra.
spice latte.
Yeah.
That's not a fad either. That's here to stay.
That's it.
Well, I will say, like, a lot of the deciding to convolute coffee and teas into, like, some shishi type of mix, like chai latte, iced chai latte, hazelnut, mocha,
Mocha chocolate latte.
all of that stuff. I think some of those flavorings are fads,
Okay.
but not the idea of coffee, clearly.
Right, it's been around
That's
for
been
a
around
while.
forever. And not the idea of just drinking tea, because that's there too. But it's like a convergence of a few things. So America is like, oh, East Asians, and they drink tea all the time. Oh, it's better for digestion. Oh, it's full of antioxidants, white tea and green tea. Oh, we should do it too, right? So that's what we
Right.
do. Like, oh, that's cool. But then, because we're Americans, we're also like, I want flavors and choices of them, though, right?
Right.
So we can't just have green tea, right?
No, we don't want just that.
No, it has to be like turmeric powder, ginger infused, like all of that.
And is all that helping? Because I know by
It does.
themselves,
It does.
it does help.
It does. They are healthful things.
Okay.
Bad nonetheless.
Right. Now, does it make a difference if you have any of that cold versus hot?
Yeah, warm is better for your digestion. Cold kind of like puts everything on hold for a second. And most of us, it doesn't matter, but a lot of people do have digestive issues. And a lot of those digestive issues are big question marks. Ask anyone. I'm sure there's people listening who know exactly what I'm about to say. Anyone with a digestive issue has probably had it for years, and doctors can't ever just pin it down. Because it's complex and there's lots of reasons for it. And I usually say anyone with real digestive problems have to do a full-on overhaul of their system, probably have to fast and all this stuff. Like you have to like not eat
Okay.
to like get to a
The root.
place. But if we're now talking about drinking tea versus drinking things iced, if anyone has any type of issue in digesting anything, even if that means I have heartburn sometimes, you should not be drinking anything cold, ever. You shouldn't really be eating cold things, too.
Really?
No, you shouldn't. It affects our digestion immediately.
When the heat kills some of the nutrients?
No.
No.
Our bodies are 98.6 degrees. When we make tea, it gets to 212. No one's drinking tea at 200 degrees. Like, we're letting
Okay.
that sucker cool. So it's like at least under 150.
Right.
And no, and if you're cooking food at all, what are you doing? If you're eating a piece of pizza, you already had it in the oven that's like 400 degrees.
Right.
If you're baking potato, that's like 400 degrees. If you're frying anything on stovetop, including veggies, even if it's a short amount of time, I mean, you're pressing close to over 300 degrees.
Right.
So we're cooking food anyway. The tea is less than all that food we're cooking.
Interesting.
So that's one thing to think about. Two, our bodies are almost 100 degrees. Like, that's our normal body. So if we're going to put something in our body that's like 33 degrees, it's a shock. It's a shock to our system. And our body reacts appropriately to it. Like, hold up, shut down, shut down. Something just happened. Wait, hold up. So we don't release enzymes as well. Our hydrochloric acid ends up not being as potent as it should be. Like, all these little things happen. Now, for anyone that doesn't have any type of gut issues, we're not going to notice a thing. It's not going to feel like anything. And people with some gut issues won't really notice it in the moment, but that builds. And if you had any type of gut issue, you shouldn't do it. So teas are cool. Teas could be a fad. These coffee type drinks, adding things like, y'all, if you're not in New York City, I don't know how much you're around this. This is like super prevalent in New York City. But even the big coffee shops, they're going into these places of like turmeric and coconut milk. Because someone found out that when you mix turmeric and coconut milk with a little bit of black powder, a little bit of ginger, you sleep really well and it's very healthful. It's true. It's extremely true.
Gotcha.
And so it's just another thing to choose from because we like choices.
Right.
We love choices. If anyone has friends from outside of the country, one of the things they notice when they come in here is like we have a ton of choices for one thing. They're like, if you go to Germany, there's like 3 olive oils to choose from.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? There's like 5 cereals in total, and then we'll have like 23.
Have you ever seen The Handmaid's Tale?
No, because I don't have the system it comes from.
Gotcha. So the interesting, they had a scene in a supermarket, and they had one like a cereal would be cereal. Fruit would be fruit. Canned fruit would actually have just an apple on it and cover, and that's it. Super simple. In a way, kind of could. I mean, as long as it was made properly. Obviously, you don't want to eat anything from a can. We could do another show.
I mean, psychologically,
it's simple,
having less to choose from makes everything more efficient.
Yes, it does.
And it makes so your social patterns and like sociology, just living, everything gets simplified if we have less choices. One, when we have more choices, we stand there longer deciding which one's the best. Most of them are the same.
Right.
Most of them are the same. My mom was a biochemist, and I remember once asking her a question about, this lotion says, like, it has vitamin E and da-da-da. I forgot what I asked her. And she said, Sam, they're all the same. You put, like, 0.2% of something, and you can just put it on the label. They're all the same. But then we have all these choices, and we're like, well, this one does this, and this one does this. And then really, they all do the same. Most of the olive oils are going to be the same.
Wow.
The different categories can be like olive oils in glass bottles that are organic versus olive oils in glass bottles that are not organic versus olive oils in clear bottles that are not organic. Like, within that, you can decide which one you want, but like, they're all the same.
In general.
If they all say organic, extra virgin, cold press, and in a glass bottle, you're getting the same product. It's olive oil.
That's crazy if it came from the same plant.
It's olive oil.
Wow.
It's olive oil. So yeah, that's choices, but that's what we like. So that's how these fads are created. Yeah, green tea is helpful. Turmeric tea is helpful. I'll do it, but I do it at home. I do it because I already know. People can go ahead and pay $6 for it if they want to. I mean, I'm not doing that. Also, matcha. That's a big thing now. So for anyone who doesn't know, matcha is a powdered green tea leaf. And I'm not even going to say in Japan. We like to say it's in Japan. Traditionally, ceremonially in Japan. So understand this is not happening in the cities. Okay?
Wow. Okay.
Ceremonially in Japan, this matcha was used in some type of spiritual functions and whatever. It's very, very high grade mostly. But now that it's a fad here, this is what I've noticed. We have a degraded version of matcha. Matcha is very expensive. Like really, really, really good, sun-dried, organic, ground, small batch matcha is incredibly expensive. You can get 30 grams, like an ounce, for like $30.
Wow.
But if I go online and I try to buy matcha, I'll see like 100 grams for $20. And immediately I'm like, okay, so what's up with this? Is this, okay, it's clearly not sun-dried. Okay, so it's dehydrated themselves. Okay, fine. And then this might be done or this might be done. Now, is it actually worth $20? I don't mind spending $30 for an ounce of the real deal. I do mind spending $20 for 100 grams of this instead of 30 grams because is it even as high quality as I have wanted it?
Right.
The whole point is I want it. So sometimes when we make things fads, this is what happens to them. They get degraded because marketing.
Right.
And production costs.
Right. And they want to make as much money as possible.
And bottom lines. You know? Yeah. But matcha is good.
It is good.
Matcha is great. It still has a lot of caffeine. So if you have issues with caffeine, you're going to feel it.
Right.
But it's amazingly high in antioxidants.
Falafels. More and more people are into and open to falafels.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true. I've been eating falafels forever. That's cool. It is a fad, I guess. Yeah, people are eating them. I'm seeing them a lot more places.
Yeah.
It's cool. It's good
It's
food.
good for you.
It's chickpeas and herbs.
Right.
It's deep fried.
That's how you...
Except that one place in New York, it's a chain, and they do like falafels, but their whole thing is we don't fry anything, everything's baked, even their French fries. So there was a time when I had more time on my hands that I would like go around my whole trip, find one, and get what I wanted from there because I knew it wasn't deep fried. But everything else is deep fried with the with the falafels. But I mean, people are eating French fries anyway, so who cares?
Now the deep frying, is that just a time thing? Just quicker.
It's rancid oil immersed within your healthy food.
But no, but why would they serve it that way versus?
Oh, that's how you cook it.
Okay.
Traditionally, falafels are deep fried.
Okay. But this other place, they offer it a baked version.
Baked. For people like me.
Right.
Who knows?
Sushi. Sushi has been a fad that stayed.
Yeah. And it grows and it plummets. I think at this point, what I would say is a fad, I don't know if I'd call sushi a fad. Because it was really one of those original exotic foods. I mean, I know my father was eating it in the 80s.
But almost everybody has it now. You could find that, not everybody, but you could find sushi at so many places.
At certain types
supermarkets
of corner stores, ready-made.
Yes,
and I'm like, I'm not touching that.
Yeah.
You didn't cook that? I'm done. Here's the problem. Because it's prevalent now, and quality of fish is a big deal, and food poisoning is happening more and more. I wouldn't just buy it at just any place. I would go to a real place that deals with handling raw fish. One. Second, what I have noticed is a lot more meat-free versions of sushi. That, I will say, is a fad.
Right.
That's coming up. There's a whole chain in New York City that is a vegan sushi place.
Wow.
It's
packed. Probably packed.
No, there's a few of them. It's not packed. I've never seen it packed. Some of the things are delicious there, but to be honest, I'm pretty sure it's not run by Japanese people, and I can tell.
Okay.
But some of the things are delicious there. But it's all vegan, and I think they can work because vegan sushi is a fad.
Right.
And sushi in general is. So people who don't even care are like, I'm going and I'm going to have some stuff that tastes kind of good.
Right. It just tastes kind of good.
Yeah, I mean.
Oh, man.
I mean, yeah.
Chia seeds.
Yeah. So everyone's up on them now.
Right. What are they good for?
Okay, so what they were used for back before mass production existed. People on long voyages, on long trips, walking on foot or whatever, I would take a handful. If you see the plant, you can kind of like scrub up the plant, and all these seeds are in your hands. Kind of like just comes off like that. They're really little. And they would take a handful, and they can last longer with less water and go further. Now, why? So, one of the ways we use chia seeds here is when we'll make chia seed pudding.
Right, yeah.
We'll throw it in a liquid and it gets all congealy. Because almost like salt, it absorbs like, I'm going to make this number up, like 10 times its weight in liquid. So it absorbs a lot. It's not 10 times, I know. I'm just saying 10 just to make a point. It absorbs a lot of its weight in liquid.
So it bubbles up and becomes...
It doesn't even, I wouldn't say it bubbles up, it just swells.
Okay.
It swells because it absorbs the water, so then you have like a jelly or pudding-like consistency. So one of the fads is chia seed puddings. I see that everywhere. I was doing chia seed puddings before chia seed puddings.
Tell them, Sam.
I'm trying to. Because I don't like yogurt, but I could put chia seeds in coconut milk and add some like cooked apples to it and just let it sit, and then it's something I want to eat. Okay. Because it absorbs so much water is why it was used to go on long voyages, because then you wouldn't need to drink water.
Right.
Because you would have more water in you. You know, salt is similar. I know we see salt as like drying us out, but salt has us retain water. So in places like the hottest areas of the Middle East, like certain areas of Saudi Arabia, United Arab Emirates, Egypt, they will say, like, when it's like 110, 115 degrees, make sure you eat salt. I know it sounds counterintuitive. Right. But scientifically, it's because then you don't need water as much because your body's retaining it. Oh, so you won't pass out. Wow. I know. You wouldn't think it.
Weird. No, I wouldn't think that at all either.
But chia seeds is similar without the sodium. it absorbs all this water and your body will hold on to it. So you can do like go all day if you need to just grind something out, work long hours and not be disrupted and going to the bathroom all the time because you're drinking so much fluid. You could just have a lot of chia seeds. Yeah, so they're great. Here's the other issue with chia seeds. I know someone who's in a buying and selling position of these types of fad foods, or I won't even say fad. They're all like healthy granola, crunchy type of things. So chia seeds, flax seeds, coconut water. So I know someone who does buying and selling and bringing companies together. And he's like, the things I've learned, chia seeds, even if it says organic, is not organic. And the production of it now is awful for the people around the areas where it's grown and also for the environment. And there's like nothing good. But chia seeds in and of itself is phenomenal.
Right.
But mass production and bottom lines is what creates this situation. So.
All right, so I got one more for you.
Yeah.
Kombucha.
Okay, so kombucha is fermented tea leaves. Plain and simple, that is what kombucha is. Kombucha has been around for a very long time, for centuries. Okay, kombucha is not new. Kombucha typically tastes disgusting. So now people are like, oh, this is really healthy. But these people are not going to have healthy things that don't taste good.
Right.
What are we going to do? Let's make flavors. And so now we can find kombucha like watermelon mint kombucha and turmeric ginger kombucha and citrus blast kombucha. So kombucha is supposed to be healthful. It will give you a lot of good probiotics in kind of one go. It will help you if you're having a cold or things like that. Problem is, a lot of these kombuchas add a sweetener to make them taste fun and make them more marketable. And so the health aspect is slightly lost when that's done.
Right.
Because it is a fad. Right. If it wasn't a fad, people would just probably make their kombucha at home on their counter, let it sit, drink it later. But it is a fad. So you can find it everywhere. In New York City, everywhere. Wait, and not just in every place, but different brands that do kombucha, and then all the offerings they have in all those brands. Yeah. And I'm like, what happened? Right. It's like soda now.
Well, the interesting thing is there's good sugar, bad sugar, but it's all sugar. Sugar.
Sugar is sugar.
You know.
Sugar is sugar.
Now, fructose, corn syrup, that's a whole another thing.
I mean, sure, but it's white sugar's just as bad.
Yeah.
White sugar's just as bad. High fructose corn syrup is just GMO, so that's what makes it worse. But what it does into our bodies is the same type of damage. Oh. It's the same damage, yeah. It is not much difference when we actually ingest it.
Ugh.
Yeah.
Well, give people your social media.
Well, you can find me at Sam Eats Plants on Instagram. That's all, really.
That's all? That's it?
That's all for now.
Oh, man. And I'm Michael7Michael on Instagram. And you're watching Foodcaster. Listen, we're having a journey, having an experience, and we're talking about it. Yep, that's right, on Foodcaster. Thank you so much for watching. Hopefully you're watching us on cable. If you go to geekcaster.com, all the information, or sevnetwork.com, all the information, different times on cable and the time slots. And of course, you could be watching this on Facebook or on our website. Thank you so much. You're watching Foodcaster.